Hello and welcome back to Building Roots Abroad. I'm Giovanna, your host and a curious podcast lover who is always looking for new stories. Today, we are happy to introduce Thiago. Originally from Brazil, he moved to Australia nearly 20 years ago with a dream and a bachelor in computer science. Since then, he started an incredible path from English student to become now a digital project manager at top firms in Brisbane. As a lecture speaker, mentor, app developer, and passionate about his Brazilian community in Australia, Thiago embodies the spirit of building roots while staying connected to where you come from. Get ready to be inspired by his energy and passion for connecting people and cultures. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode of our podcast. Today we are here with Thiago. Hi Thiago, and welcome to Building Roots Abroad.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. Thiago, I'm a Brazilian Aussie.
Yeah.
So yeah, just happy to talk to you about that.
Nice, great. So can we start just having you telling us about how you started everything back in Brazil, how you started your career in the IT field industry?
Yeah, that was actually an accident. I was still 17, no idea what to do. I was already doing some computer stuff, but it's nothing planned. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly I found that was my gig, and then I start evolving but I can't see myself doing anything else. Nice.
And then you started as a Bachelor of Computer Science, or how was your first jobs and your first experience?
Yeah, the course itself was Bachelor of Computer Science, and while I was doing that, I also joined publicity agency, and then was doing IT support for an international company back in São Paulo. And it was pretty much support, doing network, all this basic stuff. That wasn't my gig, but it was just a way for me to start in the industry. Then I stayed there for 4 years when I switched to my current career.
Okay, cool. And then nowadays, what is your role, your title in the IT industry?
Yeah, it's in the IT. I'm actually hold 2 titles. I work in 2 different segments. I work as a product manager as well as a development manager. Mm-hmm. So I'm leading digital products, technical products. And with my background, which in the development, so I was a coder. That actually led me to creating product innovation as well. So it's pretty much very broad. Nowadays, I use technical skills to create product.
Nice. And products would be more like apps, or?
Yeah, web apps.
Nice.
Because some products are web-based, depend what you're doing. But then nowadays pretty much all mobile first. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and apps as well. So
nice. And how you decided to then move abroad? It was Australia your first experience living abroad, and how was the transition? How old were you and things like that?
Yeah, Australia was my very first. I never ever thought to live anywhere else. Yeah, Brazil was nice. I was in love with São Paulo, my city. When I left, I told my best friend, man, don't worry, I'll come back. I'll never change because the city, I love the city, but actually not. Mm-hmm. I was pretty hard work. I committed myself in my career. So I was working for 8 years with no holiday. And then one day I was talking to my company's owner, and he asked me if I knew English. I said no. He said, you need to enroll for a course. I said no way. Yeah. I want to actually live abroad. And then he said, but that's the key, because I think one of the key cultural challenge we have in Brazil, it's the fear of living and then the fear of losing your job. Because the pressure at that time for me was, I'm going to live and come back without work. And I always see this narrative. I always see these people with those fear. And it's interesting because when I came back was the opposite. So
you came back to Brazil?
Yeah.
You came here for the first experience just for a little bit?
Yeah, my life here is like Netflix. I'm in my 3rd season.
Nice.
So I live twice back in Brazil. But yeah, so the first decision was just to come and learn English, and then the key thing is that my boss was very good with me, if you want to go, just go, then you come back here.
No, they're very flexible.
So yeah, actually, I'm so grateful to have that professionals in my career. And the thing is, every single time I come back to Brazil, the next day I go there to say hi to them. I'm like, they gave me like the foundation, they gave me like the confidence, like to come and embrace this challenge. And my life was never like the same again. So,
of course,
but yeah,
context.
like really good.
Nice. And then you stay this first season of your life. You stayed for like how long?
Yeah, it's interesting to talk about season because the first season was the gap year. Just want to have a break. Just want to come and relax.
Learn English a bit better.
Learn English. So I didn't want to do like any mental work. Didn't know anything that I need to use my brain. I just want to do physical jobs. And yeah, I embrace it. Like I work as a cleaner, work as a delivery driver. Did like so many other jobs. Like just to keep busy. And that was my first challenge. Like when I came here, the first challenge was not about the English. I think English would be the consequence.
Yeah, of course.
So it's just more establishing your life overseas in a place that you don't speak the language, you don't know nobody.
Yeah.
And back at the time was 2008. There was no internet. When I came to Brisbane, I didn't see a picture of Brisbane. I didn't know how the city looks like. Nowadays we got video. Yeah, we know like people like giving feedback. But that time like there was nothing. There was like literally like nothing. And
it's even more exciting.
It is like it is because I love the surprise. Like it was a really good experience.
Nice. And then you came back to Australia the second time. When how was like coming back after the 1 year experience?
When I came here the first day, I fell in love with the city because I came here to, as everybody, everybody say, no, I go just to stay 6 months. It's almost like 90% of the people say that, and I was the same. But in the very first day, I said, no, that's the place. Yeah, so I went back to São Paulo like because I was here for a year.
Yeah.
And then there was my brother's wedding. I went there like for just the wedding, and that time I just need the English to apply for the PR, for the permanent resident visa.
So after 1 year, you were already eligible?
I was already eligible before that. Because of my career, like I was already 8 years in experience in IT, so with reference, so I could prove like all the criterias. The only thing was the English. And then back that time there was no IELTS English course every single week or month, so when I went back to Brazil to my brother's wedding, all the IELTS in Australia was fully booked. So I say, okay, I go to my brother's wedding and then I do the IELTS in Brazil, and then I say, okay, I just go do the test and see how that goes, and then I fail.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and then I fail, and back at that time, like the only restriction for the migration was I couldn't stay more than a year without work in my area, and then as I was about to complete, because I came in March, I was about to complete like 1 year. Then I went back to my company. To that company.
You had to get back to work.
Yeah, I had to get back to work to because otherwise they wouldn't recognize my experience.
Yeah.
And then I went to my boss, like I was very, straight to them. I said, look, can I just join back, like just for 3 months, because I just want to get back to apply for my visa and then come back.
They're so nice.
Yeah, but then they say, no, man, you're gonna you're gonna actually impact more than help, so. And then I decided to stay. I say, okay, man, from now on, I'm decided to stay for another 2 years. And then it was like right timing, because and that's one part of the reasons that I stay a little bit longer. Like that same year, my mom got sick, so like she got cancer, and then
when you were there,
when I was there, in the same year that I arrived was very coincidence. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidence.
Like meant to be.
For me, it's more fate, because that happened like exactly the moment I was there. And then my dad got sick as well, so then I was the only one that provided at home. So I say, okay, sister, just go look after them. I work, because if we need some money, then I can cover the family cost, and then you look after the family, look after them. And then that was like in 2010. For 2010, I just worked really hard, like saving a lot of money, because if something happened, I would be there to back them up. And then, thanks God, like nothing happened. My mom recovered. Then I couldn't stand the city anymore.
Yeah, because you became used to like a small city and.
It's too much. São Paulo is lovely. Like Paulo, I think is one of the more vibrant city in the world, full of like life and restaurant. When you're there, when you get in your routine, how much do you enjoy that?
Of that, yeah, it's not manageable.
And then then that time I just decided, then I talked to my mom, say, hey, how are you feeling? She said, I'm good. Say, I want to go back to Australia. And it's interesting because that time I did the IELTS test twice and I failed twice.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, when I spoke to my mom, she said, no, yeah, you can go because it's your life is there, you are happy there, and that's okay. So I said, okay, let's do the IELTS itself, see where I'm failing, so then I can invest like the studying. So I didn't study before. I was planning to study after. And then when I did the IELTS, I passed.
Wow, it was so meant to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because it was like 2 years later, not speaking English at all. But then when I came back in the same situation, I got back into a cleaning job, restaurants as well. And in between, I was applying for jobs. And that's what I always shout to people. The life can be harder. The routine can be harder. My routine was morning and afternoon studying. Then at night working as a cleaner. And then when I get home, I still need to cook.
Yeah, you need to set up everything.
And then even before sleeping, I was still looking for jobs. I was still looking for my career, And then I found one opportunity that I changed completely my career. I joined a marketing company.
Nice.
And was the time that I was still studying. I got the visa and everything else.
Yeah, you switch your completely life from a student, immigrant to actually work in your field and becoming a citizen.
And that's become the theme of the second season because suddenly first season I was having fun, enjoying my student life.
Which was just during a year.
Just a year, having fun, with all the students, international people, having all those parties.
Yeah, the reggaeton.
No, at that time, there was no.
No, there was no reggaeton. Yeah.
No, because at that time Brisbane was so boring.
Yeah.
Literally, there was no Latin party. There was
everything
no
was
Brazilian party. There was
Mr.
nothing.
Brightside.
Yeah, there was no even live music. Was very the city was very, very quiet.
It's still quiet, but I cannot imagine so many.
When people say that, you can imagine when it was 16 years ago. But the key thing is for me it was ideal because I was leaving Brazil, São Paulo, because I was stressed.
Yeah.
And then I decided let's just relax. That was perfect. Second half was the time the second season was the time when I got the job, I got the money, I got the time. Then I got the answer for my visa, and then I didn't even attend the second class. I just went straight to celebrate, and then I canceled the course, and then 1 year later I applied for my PR. But that was the time that I didn't need to work anymore at night, so then I had the fun, more enjoyable fun.
Yeah, that's so cool. And then how you called the third time, when you had when it started the third season for you? Yeah,
the third season was harder because
it was after how many years do you consider? The second one. So the second one was 4 years of your life.
Yes, and then my mom got sick again, and then
you came back.
Then I came back straight away. I was just waiting to get my citizenship done, but just decided to go straight away to Brazil. I even didn't tell my boss. When I decided to do that, it was Friday night. I bought my tickets on Saturday, packed it on Sunday, and left on Monday. And then I just sent an email to them, say, look, I'm heading back. I work remotely, but that's it. And then I got there 17 August and 17 September. My mom passed away.
Wow.
So that was just 1 month. She was actually just waiting for me.
Yeah.
And then I decided to stay for my sister. My sister was there.
Also struggling with the situation.
So, yeah, it was a real impact to the family. So I stayed there for just to support my sister and then get back to São Paulo lifestyle. The only thing was more thinking the career wise, because I decided to quit my job just to go into a startup and get paid as a startup, really shit dollar. But
you get the learning experience.
Yeah, just experience. It was my friend's startup, so it was a pleasure to be working with him. And then because I knew that would be temporary, so I said, not going to go to big corporate. I just want to go to anything that I can experience and help people.
Like a project.
Yeah. And then I stayed there for another 2 years. And then when that time Accenture found me and I joined the innovation team in Accenture, which
back in São Paulo.
Back in São Paulo.
Wow, that's so cool.
And then which was really, really cool, because it was a very nice, a new vertical in Accenture. So really exciting projects. But then again, There
You were missing and you were Australian citizen anyways.
Yes, I was already. And when I was in Accenture, I noticed that I was back in the São Paulo routine. I was getting back home 9 p.m.,
Yeah.
So that's it, And
The
then
lifestyle is not...
and then I found myself like back into that routine, getting home like just to sleep, and the next day waking up to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, okay, no. And then I go home.
And then you came back here for the third season in what year?
2018.
Oh, 18. A
So,
little
yeah.
bit before COVID.
A little bit before COVID, yeah.
Yeah. And then, I think we cover a lot of the questions just in the timeline with the seasons, because I think it's a very nice way to, like, categorize all the years. But yeah, I think one of my questions would be, like, the challenges you faced to start your career. I think you already covered that as well, but, like, you were already very well experienced when you came here. So do you think the challenge was more like the English, or also finding a job? I know the way we say sometimes seems very simple, but for anyone listening, do you think is a struggle finding like a job here? And
yeah, both, because the key thing is people will be likely to be patient with your communication skills, okay? But the key thing is, if you don't speak the language, if you don't communicate, how are you going to get the job done? How are you going to understand what you need to do?
Yeah, true.
So the key thing is like language. Like for anybody that's like planning to go overseas to live, immerse yourself in the language. Don't rush. Because some people, I see a lot of people that they get here. I want to work in my area. I say, but man, how's your English? It's not enough.
Yeah, I think you can do some steps backwards to then go like even further. Even I know, like the first agency I worked, a lot of people were working there, especially like it was an Asian agency, just because it was like Asian kind of communication and they had a job, instead of learning English and maybe going for another type of marketing job, not just with your people because it's easier,
And can I share like one of the biggest challenge when you go overseas is like learn about yourself. Who are you?
Self-esteem as well.
How to deal with your ego.
Yeah.
How you gonna deal with stress.
Yeah.
How you gonna build your resilience. Okay, because that's the key challenge. Like for example, I was very successful in Brazil. When I came here for the very first time, I was already like financial independent, like I already had a good career. I was in a higher position when I was 24 years. And then when I came in here, I embraced it like a cleaning job. I embraced it like any other job. And that's the challenge. I think the challenge is like how to deal like with judgment. Like Brazil, like in our culture, there's a lot of judgment. How often I heard that, are you gonna leave everything you have, everything you got here to be a cleaner?
Yeah.
And I say, mate, that's one thing that I say,
hey, the most.
Why don't you ask me if you're gonna be happy? Okay. There is all this judgment, and that's part of like family. There's a lot of family judgments in our culture. There is a lot of like society judgment, and then like it comes into learning language, and this comes with the time.
Yeah, and then over the years you built like an impressive resume, especially here in Australia. So between the corporations you worked, what was the key factors that you think you got success? Like even in the interviews, or I know like the experience talks itself, but especially in a new country, what do you think was the key factors? For example, I had a high self-esteem, because sometimes even you were saying we come from another country, maybe we are very experienced, but because we are not in our comfortable zone, we tend to like not value a lot, or not speak up to what we want, what we deserve. So how do you achieve all those like experience across these years?
Yeah, interview like overseas is different, because you need to read the room, you need to understand, the interview style. So that's why communication is important, because there is a barrier like to break in terms of like being a foreigner. Like of course it's gonna have like that level of challenge, but like once you got the experience, you just need to be able to elaborate that, like and share
Like
show examples, like showcase, and and that's it. Every interview is different, but if you are starting any like a journey overseas, just go straight to the interviews, because you're gonna learn by doing. Fail, you're gonna receive a lot of no. Just take the no as given, and then if you get anything else, don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then as a software developer and now manager and everything, what was the thing that you like the most about your job or your career? Probably like everyone listening, some of them will already be in the field, but what you like the most?
Well, one thing that I learned along, I had the privilege to work in many industries, in many companies. The foundation of my career was as a consultant, so then based on that, I moved a lot into projects and being exposed to many different industries and companies. And one thing that I learned, I know that's gonna sound cliche, but it is to work with something you like. Here in Australia, I had so many offers to join gambling companies, and then I never went. A lot of money, good money, but that's not my gig. And what I found, for me, it's actually doing any work that I can impact people, when do some meaningful work. And that's when I left software development itself, when I joined that marketing company, because then I completely changed my mindset in terms of work. My client was a Subway, so I was delivering a digital experience. They gave me freedom to do everything. So was the biggest shift in my career. So nowadays for me, it's delivering product. Doesn't matter if technology. That's why in the beginning of the conversation I mentioned I'm product manager and develop manager, because the purpose of the role is not specific to one. I can lead both of cross-functional team and team, but yeah, it was literally a game changer.
Nice. And then on top of that, because you mentioned about products and then all the creation, the impacts on people, can you tell us a little bit more about the app that you created? The app for international people living overseas, I think is also very match a lot with the podcast. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, that's it.
And you create all yourself, so it's kind of like a startup as well. You can call yourself a startup.
Oh yes, I got a company.
So you kind of have also that title.
So yeah, it's interesting the change on that, because when I came back in 2018, I joined Suncorp, which is one of the major insurance company in Australia.
Yeah, very big.
And I was leading the innovation team there. I led the team for 3 years, and that's what sparked me. I say, what, man? In 3 years, I created 15 products to them. And just one actually was able to go publicly, But then I say, what? I'm gonna create all of those products for companies. Now let's start create for myself.
Yeah.
And that's when my entrepreneurship career started.
Yeah.
And then during COVID, I set up a podcast to connect with Brazilians overseas.
Nice.
Then I spoke to all Brazilians overseas, in different countries, and then I start mapping, the needs and the pain points, and it was exactly the same thing everywhere. And I say, okay, I think it's time to get my project out, because I've been in Australia for these 16 years. I've been helping people for 16 years. I answered the same question for 16 years.
Yeah, because everyone also you can find, that's also the point of the whole project here. You can find anywhere how to go to Australia, how to make the money as a Uber Eats or barista. They explain the very first step, but then to actually start a life, build your roots, no one explain. So I understand why they go to you, because normally people see on LinkedIn, oh, he works on that, or they know that you already built a life. They go straight away to know how.
In the beginning, was myself itself. I was just actually in the community, being proactive and helping them, but that's it, then after a while, I started going and doing some speaks in some events, and then then people start coming and asking for what we know nowadays as a coach, mentorship, but I did all of them as a hobby, and also trying to help the community, for people to break that ice.
And then what the app brings to the community then?
So I like the easy way to explain the app itself called Na Gringa. because na gringa means like if you are doing a barbecue na gringa, you are doing a barbecue overseas.
Yeah, it's like na gringa is like kind of overseas.
It's kind of overseas.
But in a casual speaking.
Yeah, in a slang way,
Yeah.
you know. Then I built the app itself just to build the social network for everybody who lives overseas, you know, and then bring like specific tools that can help them, you know, like and just address that need, because we do have a lot of apps out there. We have WhatsApp, we have Instagram, so the Brazilians are very creative, so they always adjust like the social network for some like way of like communicating and helping people.
Like our Facebook community, the group, you can do literally anything.
Yes.
Like I sell everything there, I do everything.
And that's it. And nowadays it's more like WhatsApp groups, but the key thing is, how do you find those groups? Okay, on Facebook you go and look into that and you search by the name. But WhatsApp nowadays is pretty big, and how do you find them? You don't
find them. Yeah. So your app brings more this information. Like what we can find there is more like people talking about accommodation or maybe jobs, or it's like a kind of a mix.
It is for helping people like to get a job.
Nice.
Helping people like to find accommodation, to help each other. But there's so many tools. It's just to foster like the connection with the people. And then of course I'm not here like to replace WhatsApp, Instagram. I'm just trying to bring something that's gonna be easy for people to come and share the information and try to find the information, So.
Nice. And it's not just for Brazilians, it's for everyone.
It's for everyone. So if they are looking for information, doesn't matter the country, it's just about the language, you know?
I agree.
But anyways, it was built like with the foundation right in that. I started as a startup in the Brazilian community, pretty much like in Brisbane. And then I tested. The app itself grew like by organically, because as a startup, I didn't have money to invest, and I count on people to share,
word of mouth. Nice. And then how many users you guys have now, or
we had like it was a organic growth like to 4,000 users. Was a very interesting number.
That's
like
good.
for like with zero investment of like any like advertising or anything.
That's very cool. And then I think that's also the hook for the other question, which is how is the challenges and good parts of being like an entrepreneur as well. Like talking with the community, I know like that probably made you even like closer to everyone, like maybe talking to businesses. Or I've even seen the ad of the app in the Brazilian restaurant here in the city. So how is this life for you as well? Because it's kind of a double life. You have to work in the field, but also you need to make connections, make sure your brand is out there, like at least in the Brazilian community to start. And how do you manage?
And that's it. Like in the entrepreneur side, we need to be a risk taker.
Yeah. And
I am a risk taker at some point. Because the only thing that I didn't take the risk yet was just to quit my job, and then I have like a double life. You mentioned that's right, because my life it's 8-8-8, so 8 hours my full-time job, 8 hours working my side gig, and 8 hours is sleeping.
Yeah.
When I decided to do that transition, was hard because I need to do some personal like commitments, of course, it impacted my social life, but that's the time that for me, if you're gonna go like to that entrepreneurship world, you're gonna give up something. You need to give up something.
Yeah.
And then I
free
give up.
time and.
Yeah, and then like look backwards, I had so much fun in my life. I had so much fun in my other seasons in Australia. And when I moved back to that last season, I moved back already like focus on my career. That's why I joined Suncorp. That's why like I work in like big corporates here. Because I'm focused on my career now. And now because of those projects, I'm actually like trying to set up something that can, be like self-sustaining or anyway.
Nice. And then you found like some time to also be like a mentor at the university, because that's how I met him. He was my mentor when I was a university student. So how did you join that? And was the same concept of like, I want to help people, I want to be like a guide somehow and help whatever I can. How did you become a mentor?
That's very true, right? Like
that's how we met.
That's how we met.
Like I know we are from the same country, but the connection itself was because yeah, and I know it's not the same field, but I think that because the platform kind of matched you with your mentor. So I actually had a mentor in marketing, but he also was kind of match as a mentor, and I think was because of the language, and it was very nice because we had a lot of chats and calls and so how you found also like the inspiration to
Yeah, like as I said, like I you know like I don't want to hold back my knowledge, like my experience. You know, I think the biggest problem in the humanity is like a communication. It's people like people don't share, people don't speak as much as they should. You know, like and but I'm a millionaire by seeing a
Like
lot of
knowing people.
a lot of impact that I had on people as well. You know, and I'm glad. You know, I met you. We are here like I don't know 2 or 3 years later. You know, it's,
yeah, even 3. Yeah.
yeah, and then that was before COVID, wasn't it?
No, it was a bit after, like 1
bit
year,
after, yeah.
or even during ish.
But yeah, like that was it's and I'm very career driven. I love like talking business and then helping people in the career. This is my reward to see like that I was able to help someone and that someone impacted, like you. When I spoke to you, like you were looking for a job and then we were talking, then you found your first opportunity, you call me, you know. For me, that's my reward to see that like I can be like at least like a base or some foundation to help people don't freak out and, you know.
Like guidance and...
It's a guidance just to say like, and that's it. Like that's what keep me going. Like
yeah, it's a good reason.
Yeah, you know, it's that's inspire me. Like instead, while I can help people, while I can impact some people's life, I'll be here. You know, so
nice. So on top of that, you're very involved with the Brazilian community, especially because of the app and everything. And talking about community, how do you think that community is important when you live overseas to build your roots? Like, how for you is important this social part to keep, you know, building your roots abroad? Or do you feel like you miss a lot of your people in Brazil, or you made your community here?
Yeah, and that's a very interesting topic because I join like every single community. I join like Canadians in Australia, Italians in Australia. But it's interesting, different culture has different style. Like they get together, they get apart. For example, like Asian culture is interesting. You have here like Sunnybank is a Chinese suburb. Then you have Inala, which is like a Vietnamese suburb. And then what I found, like the Asian community, they stick together.
No, but so hard.
So hard, you know, that you go to Sunnybank, like you don't see even English plates, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you say, "Oh, can I have an English menu?" You know,
Yeah.
like. But anyway, it's just fun. But like, it's interesting to see behaviors. And Europeans itself, they are more like they spread themselves.
Yeah, Italians, they don't stick together.
They don't stay together. You know,
No.
like.
No, yeah, they stick together as a friend, but they don't use the group for what we use in Brazil.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask a question, maybe, like, sometimes it's a crime. Like, how you asking how to get your driver's license, you're dumb.
Yeah, and
Like-
then you go to the Latin America, and in general, the Latinos has exactly the same behavior, you know, of helping each other, asking questions, you know, and having that community sense. And then sticking to the community, I think it does give you that sense of home.
Yeah.
One thing interesting, I didn't say that, but when you speak other language, you develop another personality.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And then when you start speaking Portuguese, then you bring your roots.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you bring like who you are, like your, you know,
The personality.
The personality,
Yeah.
you know. So that's why community is important, because it's gonna still keep you in your roots.
Yeah.
And then when I try myself to live among Australians, you know, it's great.
But it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I agree. Even the events, like I've been to a concert that was a Brazilian singer that was here in Australia, and it's called Nando Reis. So he's very like a chill songs, not like super party. So I could see everyone around me, especially like because Nando Reis I think is another how can I say, another age, is a bit older than me, and then all these moms, and then you can see the kids, Australian husband, whatever, they were all crying because the connection is different. Like you cannot just be without your roots for so long. At some point you're gonna miss it, and you need a balance of like community and Australian community and Australia. So
yes, another saying is like when you are overseas, you expand like the feelings. For example, if you don't like, you hate. If you like, you love.
Yeah.
When you miss something, as you say, coming here to watch like Nando Reis, like sometimes you didn't even like listen to their music back in Brazil, but just to go to an event like that, it's gonna bring your roots. You're gonna bring the vibes.
Yeah. So, and you think like the concept of home for you, do you feel here is your home, or are you still feeling like, oh, my home is half São Paulo, half Australia? What's home now?
Home for me is here.
Yeah, because
like,
you're also here for so long now. So.
Yeah, and because I, as I said, like in my very first day, I identify myself to Australia. You know, like was like not Australia. I mean Brisbane. Like Brisbane is like the lifestyle that I love. You know, it's a big country city, but I love this place. And then, but in terms of home, like if I need to say gonna go home, it's here. You know, after like with 5 times that like I have to restart my life in those 3 seasons, like you build like a freedom. If I need to go nowadays to live in Europe or live anywhere else, like just go and you know whatever.
You're more flexible, minimalist. You know how to pack your things and go. You know, like I feel that as well. And
it starts from scratch as well. So if I need to go, let's say one of my plan one day was like I want to go to Italy.
Yeah.
And I just want to go, and I was going to join like an Italian language school, you know, to immerse myself in the community, to learn the language, and then live there for a while, you know, and that's it. Like I would go, and then I would try to get a job in a restaurant, because then you know how to build your resilience, you build like the way to set up yourself anywhere.
Understand people as well.
You know? And then if I need to go home, come back here. You know?
Yeah. Do you still have this Italian plan, or now is another year?
No. Now like life changed a little bit. You know? In terms of like I got a son, like and he lives in Brazil, and then now like I need to commit like all my free time, you know, to go and visit him.
True, yeah.
And that changed the priority at the moment, you know. But like when my ex was pregnant, I told this to her. I said, look, like if you leave Australia, because she was here. So if you leave Australia, the only thing our son's gonna have like is 3 homes. And I said 3 homes, yeah, it's yours, mine, and wherever he wanna live.
Yeah, that's.
And then whenever he grow up, you know, like then he gonna live anywhere else.
Nice. And I think just the last question to wrap up the episode. So, what building roots abroad mean to you?
That's a good question, because building root, I feel that is the place where you're happy. Of course, I'm definitely not Australian, but I'm definitely not Brazilian anymore in terms of 100%
culture-wise, yeah.
Yeah, because like as I say, you will build personalities, and when I go to Brazil, people say that I don't belong there anymore. Here, I don't belong to Australia, you know. So like you don't belong anywhere.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the tricky part.
You belong to the world, but when you build your roots, it's when you are settled in a place that like you are happy. You build your routine, you know, and doesn't mean that like you can change your route to somewhere else, but it's hard, you know. If you move to Italy, for example, I can definitely build my roots there, but it's gonna take time, and time is about like this, about like friendship, about like a routine connection, you know. And then when you got that, you're gonna be happy, and when you be happy, then when you say, okay, that's my roots here, you know. So
yeah. Love that.
So yeah,
that's so good. Yeah, I think this conversation gave us so many insights, because your story is very complex, a lot of things and achievement and success that is very interesting. But yeah, thank you very much for the episode. And if someone actually have any question, as he said, he's very open, so probably they can reach you out on LinkedIn. And do you have anything else to add before?
No, definitely. Like if anybody else would like to reach out to me, talk to me, share the experience, or you know, have any questions, you know, you can find me like on LinkedIn. You can have like an agringa.app. So and feel free, like just reach out to me. Happy to help.
Yeah, nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
See you guys next time.
See you. Bye.